Little Anne Fallon. Little Anne was like the cherry on the cake, because to be honest, I already felt like I had a sponge cake by this point, and I wasn't really expecting Anne. But as it turned out, there was no way on God's earth I would be without her. I can't believe how beautiful she is now. And obviously made this decision to have her, although I was quite scared about having 5 kids, because it's quite a lot, you know. Having had the 2 boys, Ellis, John Daniel, and Kai, Benjamin, Kevin, it was quite nice. You know, I didn't know I was expecting a girl. She went overdue again, 3 weeks again. Just getting absolutely terrorised by the last week, by the midwives. Get on with it, woman, what are you doing, blah, blah, blah. But it was a really, really lovely birth, and I don't really know why. I think I'd stopped smoking. I think there's an element of like not feeling so scared because of not feeling guilty, because like I think element was like guilt, like, oh, I hope the baby's gonna be all right because I'm a smoker, I'm a bad person. Though there's worse things you can probably do you know what I mean? But at the same time, I was like, oh, I hope everything's gonna be all right. Where with Anne, I wasn't smoking, and when I had a lot of bus rides to get into labour with her, they kept sending me to Yeovil Hospital to get the heartbeat monitor done, and it was a really bumpy ride on, and it's called a nippy bus in Somerset. So I think that's what did it in the end. And when I was giving birth, the Dalmatian downstairs, I think the Dalmatian thought that my husband was hurting me, because the next day, this Dalmatian's like 7-year-old Dalmatian, has had loads of litters. She's never done a vicious thing ever before in her life. Like turned around and bit my husband on the ankle. Because I was upstairs, you know, by now this whole keep quiet in childbirth thing has gone out the window. Just like know what's coming, you know, and I'm like in agony, do you know what I mean, wailing. And we couldn't think of any other explanation except for she thought that he was hurting me or something weird, do you know what I mean? Anyway, it was really nice because both the midwives took this completely different approach of like, we don't care what they say at the hospital. Do you know what I mean? Just really respectful. Like, you've given birth 4 times at home. We're not, 4 times now. Do you know what I mean? We're going to let you get on with it, sort of thing. And they were just really kind and gentle. And we were watching The King and I at the same time. And they said some really nice things at the end, like, they said you could feel the love in the room, and it was really nice to see a couple who like really loved each other and really kind to each other all the way through the birth and stuff like that. The most traumatic part of it was just before I started to push. Again, I had this feeling of like, I'm gonna die, like sheer panic. And I think it is actually the hormones kicking in on that circumstance. I think it is the hormones, because, you know, it's instinct. Your body knows it's got to push, and you know you've got to deal with the situation. The other scary thing about it was because I was now a Jehovah's Witness, then I knew, like, because it's my 5th child, the chances of having a bleed are quite a lot more, because your womb doesn't contract straight away necessarily as quickly as in the beginning, because it's a muscle and it's sort of a bit tired after a few. I'd had to make a decision about whether to have this symptometronome, it's called, or not, which basically is an injection that they basically use as standard quite a lot now, that makes your womb contract straight away. But also I'd heard that it can make the placenta, stick in your body and not come out. Retained placenta, that's it. So I had to like weigh up the decision like beforehand, and against like quite a lot of advice, I had decided not to have it, because I decided the risk of having a retained placenta was worse if it happened than a small bleed, which can be, they've got other ways of dealing with it, like massage and stuff, other than having blood. But they just try and scare you with it quite a lot, so it was quite scary. And then actually after I gave birth, I had like a small bleed. So weirdly enough, it was okay, because when Anne came out, oh my goodness, I nearly caught her, you know, talking about, no, I actually makes me want to have another baby, even though, like, I don't want to have any more, but just to think, like, I could get that good at it, I could, like, catch her, because, you know, they were like, oh, your baby's coming out, your baby's coming out, and it was absolutely lovely. It went really smoothly. I just felt really scared when I thought she was going to come, and then she came out fine. And again, it was her little eyes, like, they're really, really sparkly, but nobody had known that my waters had broken inside. So she was covered in like green. She looked a bit like the Incredible Hulk, but with these like really cute sparkly eyes. And she was vomiting green. It sounds horrible. Ugh. Alien green thing, but yeah, it was just lovely because it was just her eyes, like, and I was just like, I love her when she. But then I had this bit of a bleed. Sorry, I'm going a bit all over the place, and it was the reason why I wasn't scared at the time when I had this bleed is because it must have made me get quite lightheaded. And they sat me in the bath because if you have cold water, then it's like makes your womb contract as well. They did this massage thing, put me in the bath, and they said, do you normally get in at that end of the bath? Because I was in near the taps. I think they're trying to see like how worried they should be. But I just so respected these midwives because they really, really stuck up for me. Do you know what I mean? And my beliefs in the fact that I wanted to have the baby at home. Because you had the specialist on the other end of the phone and they basically told them, no, go away. Right, mum and baby are fine. Because they're saying she's got to come into hospital, she's got to be monitored, da 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 da. They're like, no. I had to wake up every hour or so, or more than that actually, I think, to make sure about Anne, because she was vomiting green, that, you know, she was okay basically, but they trusted me. And like I say, when I was in the bath and I'd had this bleed, I just felt really euphoric. Sounds terrible, but you know, I was like absolutely in love with my baby, and then probably because I lost a bit of blood, I went a bit lightheaded, and I was just like, whoa. It was so nice. And I just thought, I think I remember thinking that evening we were talking, and it's just like, yeah, she's the cherry on the cake. That's it, you know. She was like completely unexpected, just like, ding, there she was. Oh, and she was, I think, I'm right in saying she was exactly the same weight as the other two girls, which is quite weird as well. So Anne Elizabeth Vera Fallon, and yeah, she was born in December, same as Kai, and same as myself and my husband. Body we last.